Well, Mississippi State just landed a commitment nobody saw coming.
You are Locked On Mississippi State, your daily podcast on the Mississippi State Bulldogs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, welcome into the Locked On Mississippi State podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. I'm Jaron Spor, nearly a decade in journalism and a national college football writer with Athlon Sports, joined by my co-host Landon McBride, a longtime journalist and college sports fanatic. This is your daily home for all things Mississippi State. Today, we're giving you a portal and recruiting update highlighted by Jaden Rashada, surprisingly choosing Mississippi State. Then we'll dive into where Kelley Jones ranks on On3's top 100 list before wrapping things up with our next up in Starkville segment. Driver dare, stick around at the end. We'll talk about how we can make your experience even better. Also, we're on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter with daily videos, so make sure to like and subscribe over there as well. So this literally popped within the last hour.
Yeah.
Before we recorded this episode, Jaden Rashada is coming to Mississippi State, and this is something that
what a winding road.
Yeah, for sure. And we will get into those details. I can't remember if it was earlier this week or if it was last week that we talked about kind of our portal grade. I thought it was earlier this week, maybe Tuesday or Monday or something. But anyways, regardless, we talked about that, and I said it would have been nice to kind of get a backup quarterback with some experience. Well, they got a backup quarterback. Granted, he's played in 5 games, 3 games at Arizona State, 2 at Sacramento State.
Yeah.
So not a ton of experience. He does have 3 years of college experience, I guess. But yeah, where did this come from?
It's out of left field because we already got the one backup quarterback in the AJ Swan, I believe is his. Yeah, AJ Swan. So I guess Rashad is hoping to beat him out to be the backup. But from the perspective of a guy who was, high 4-star, 5-star quarterback, just was 3 years ago coming out of high school, what is his plan here? I mean, there was the year at Arizona State that was whatever after all the NIL stuff. Year at Sacramento State that, again, was kind of whatever. Is he just trying to get back on a Power 5 team, and this was the one offer he got? And I guess he's hoping to put up some stats and a couple blowouts early in the year and then transfer somewhere else next year. I mean, I think it's not a bad move for Mississippi State. Ton of talent, hadn't really lived up to it. Maybe there's something there as a backup. And for whatever reason, Kamario Taylor misses time. He's a similar type of quarterback to where you don't have to overhaul your offense to put him in there. But I don't understand what Rashada is doing from his point of view. I understand why Mississippi State would take a shot on him, but I don't understand what he's doing.
Yeah, it did make sense. I mean, the FCS move was kind of a surprise, especially because a lot of people thought, okay, maybe he'd go to a group of 5 program, kind of regain his form. And then he goes to the FCS, plays in 2 games, wasn't overly impressive, does injure the thumb, and that kind of inhibited his ability to play most of the rest of the year. But it's just like, my thing is, like, it's not like you were tearing up the FCS and now you're making the jump back to Power 4, and not only that, the SEC. And Kamario's there, so you're going to be a backup again, which that was a problem at Georgia you had, was being a backup. So on his side, it didn't make sense. I don't even love it from Levy's side either, just because Rashada doesn't have a lot of experience, because like I said, he has experience in terms of he's been in college for 3 years, but he doesn't have a lot of game experience. He has been basically a head case everywhere he's been. And you talk to people that kind of know him and his situation, his family's kind of a head case too. And so now you're bringing in that kind of distraction. Hopefully he doesn't do any of that, and he's a great teammate and all that. And I hope that's how it works out. But the stuff that you've heard about him over the last 3 years is not great stuff to hear. And you're bringing that into your locker room just to have a backup. Like, that doesn't make sense. You could have got a different backup that might not have the upside as Rashada, but he's not going to be a problem in the locker room.
Yeah, maybe they're bringing him in as a don't let this happen to you kind of example. I don't really understand anything about it from, like you mentioned, there's a lot of negatives. Maybe he's gotten it kind of figured out. He's trending in the right direction a little bit from his mental standpoint and getting it together off the field. And maybe Levy feels good enough about the leaders they have in that locker room that he's willing to take a risk on a guy like that because of the upside. If you have to play him, the talent was there at one point. Now he hadn't shown much in college that it actually translates, but at one point there was the talent. So maybe that's what it is. You feel good about the locker room and you're just taking a big swing to where if things go bad, you have a backup plan.
Yeah, again, I don't love the
I
move.
don't
I
know.
don't necessarily hate it. I'm not gonna throw a fit about a backup quarterback,
Yeah.
uh, but it's just not. It's not what I would have done.
Yeah. It's
I would
weird
have
for
found,
everybody.
yeah, find a different starting FCS quarterback that doesn't have the baggage that Rashada has. Um, and actually, just speaking of this, I haven't even looked it up. Where did that kid from Western Carolina that the kid was at? That he had an incredible season, but he was undersized. Um, Golly, what was
You
his
care about
name?
Western Kentucky, that offense that
No,
okay.
it was the Taron Dickens kid from
Oh, I'm
Western
not sure.
Carolina. Yes, Western Carolina. He's the kid that earlier this year, like, had a game where he completed, like, 70 straight passes or some
Oh,
crazy amount or
yeah,
something
yeah,
like that. Um, I remember he entered the transfer portal, but I don't ever remember hearing him going anywhere. But
yeah.
that would be a guy that and again, I know he's undersized, he don't have the strongest arm, he's 5'11". I get all that, but and he's not gonna bring the baggage, and he had a heck of a season this
Mhm.
year. I mean, as a redshirt sophomore, he threw for 3,508 yards and 38 touchdowns this year. The game I was talking about was he went 53 of 56 for
Mhm.
378 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, why don't you take a flyer on someone like that?
Yeah. Yeah, that would make more sense in terms of kind of what you're going after. But again, this is a guy who's going to be in a battle to be the backup because they already brought in one transfer upperclassman as a quarterback too. So I mean, these are your second and third stringers. I'm not going to split too many hairs. I
And you
think it's a
got
weird.
Brody
Yeah,
coming in.
I mean, it's a weird move, but it's not like he's challenging for the starting job. If that was the situation, I'd be a little bit more concerned about the direction. But if you're going to take a flyer on a guy who's either your backup or third stringer, why not?
The only thing I'm worried about though is no, I don't expect him to play a ton, but we did see Kamara get injured, and that was one thing I brought up as a reason why I wanted to see them get another quarterback in the portal. Was because of Kamario is going to take a lot of hits this year. But they did get the Swan kid from Appalachian State, and he might end up being the actual backup.
Mhm.
So we'll see what happens there. But that's not the only transfer portal news or recruiting news
Yeah.
either. We spent most of this time talking about this move, and obviously this is the biggest move in terms of just came out of nowhere and just kind of popped just a few minutes ago. But they also attacked the transfer portal with another offensive lineman, Brandon Sneh, I believe is how you pronounce his
Nah,
last name.
nay,
UAB.
nah.
Yes, yeah. He's an offensive tackle, 6'6", 315 pounds. So that another transfer portal on the offensive line. They also brought in a recruit. I'm blanking on his first name. Ungers, his last name,
Yeah.
but he was on the offensive line,
I want to say
2027.
Caleb, but that's not right.
Well, and see, and I was gonna say Jacob, so I don't think either one of us are that close. But Unger's his last name. I'll get it here in a second, then we'll be fine. Caleb, it is Caleb.
No, look at me.
So
Look at me
Caleb
knowing
Unger, yeah,
things.
yeah. So two offensive line commits in the transfer portal, and then the 2027 class. So Levy is
Mhm.
still, you can be upset by what he's done in the portal. He's brought in a lot of guys, and I would say that Brandon Sneh signing, you're probably out of the seat and running, which you should know that answer in the next 24-ish
Mhm.
hours, 48 hours. So
Yeah,
but I think that probably means you're out of it.
I think so too. And he's another guy has a little bit of starting experience coming from UAB, so it's a lower level of competition, but good size, 6'6", about 315. So, I mean, he's definitely a tackle. He's not someone you're going to try to move inside. Another guy to throw in the competition with some starting experience, and hopefully enough of these guys are strong enough that we have a solid line going into the fall.
Yeah. Looked up Jacob Unger. He is a plastic surgeon in Nashville.
No,
So shout out to him. So I was way off. Not a football player. Plastic surgeon.
He's gonna Google himself tomorrow and be real confused.
Yes, he is. All right, coming up next, Kelley Jones ended up in one of these way too early 2026 rankings for the I believe it was top 100 players from On3 was the one who put it together. Where did he rank? He's the only Mississippi State player on it. Where did he rank? We'll talk about that coming up next. Well, FanDuel is officially in playoff mode. Every game day during NFL playoffs, FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in on the action because right now, every NFL playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app. Each game day, you'll see a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts you can apply to the bets you like most. Open your profit boost pack first thing on game day and see what boost you want to apply. The boosts let you lean into your game day instincts, whether you're backing momentum, defense, quarterback play, or coaching. The boosts give you more juice on the bets you already like instead of forcing you to bet something new. Every play feels bigger, and the boosts make your bets feel that way too. You make your picks, then apply your profit boost to go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs get rolling. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. All right. Well, thanks for being Locked On Mississippi State, your first listen every single day. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. If you haven't already, go check out our new Everydayer Club, access to an ad-free audio feed for Locked On Mississippi State, compatible with Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and every other major podcast app. An invite to the members-only Locked On Everydayer Club Discord server, which includes a group chat just for listeners of the show. Landon and I are in there, so come check it out. Go to Locked On Mississippi State in the show notes. The URL is there to learn more. All right, so On3 is putting out their way too early 2026 rankings, ranking the top 100 college football players. Kelley Jones, the lone Mississippi State player, comes in at number 35.
I mean, that's really high. And I think, both of us are very high on him as both player going into the year, and then especially what he did throughout the year. But that's a crazy high place for a corner who was on a defense that played like Mississippi State's defense did for at least the last half of the season.
Right.
He's a true lockdown corner, and having a guy like that on your team can help you tilt the field when the rest of the pieces start picking up some of the slack. So I'm glad he's getting some of that recognition outside of, Mississippi State fans and those who are really into just plugged in the SEC and to the Bulldogs. But it's kind of crazy to see him that high. I mean, when we talked about it earlier a little bit, I was like, oh, that high? I expected, sneaking in, not because I don't think he's worthy of it, but just because of outside perception. You expect him to be like 80s or 90s if he's on there, not that high.
Right. That's the thing. Like, is he a top 40 player in college football? I think you and I both would agree he is.
Yeah.
But Mississippi State doesn't have that respect a lot of times when it comes to this stuff. I do think Isaac Smith is also a top 100 player. I would put him near the 100 mark, but that kind of goes back to the Mississippi State. I would argue Kelley Jones top 30, really. But he's going to get a little bit of a knock just because he plays at Mississippi State, in my opinion. But no, I mean, he has a legit chance to be the #1 corner for this upcoming draft class, the 2027 class, not the 2026 one.
Or at least first round pick.
Yeah, and I know Mel Kiper was very high on him and thought he could even sneak into the first this year.
Yeah.
But obviously Kelley Jones comes back, and so I think he'll be one of the top corners in next year's draft, one of the highly sought after, because you don't usually find guys that big who are that fluid, who can run, who can just lock down the side of the field, because that usually those tall receivers give corners fits because you don't have another corner that's that high.
Yeah.
Well, he is that high, so it makes it that much better. But yeah, I mean, so I'm excited to see what kind of season he's gonna have. It's crazy because before the season, we heard some really positive things about Kelley Jones, and we talked about him, and he was the guy before the season that I said I'm most looking forward to seeing if he had the breakout. And we knew that he was the starter, and it was like, okay, well, who's gonna take that other corner spot? And also, can any of them step up and be a great player? Because right now we think Kelley's a starter and he's a solid starter. And then what else you got to? Well, then he just locked down a whole side of the field and way exceeded expectations.
Yeah, he did.
And if he can continue to build on that in a defense that should be better this year, a better called, man, the sky's the limit for him. I seriously think I think he should be in Jim Thorpe conversations this year. Obviously, obviously yes, that's this season, but I'm talking about going into the preseason.
Yeah,
and I know everyone becomes a preseason.
they're all on the initial watch list.
Yes, but I mean, I'm talking about like someone that you actually legit say, hey, watch him for this award.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is we talk about he did that last year on the defense. That defense had 0 pass rush. I mean, we talked about almost every week, hey, they got 2 quarterback hits and 1 sack. And that was a good week most weeks. When you lock up a side of the defense like he did with 0 pass rush, that's kind of next level corner play. When that quarterback has time to throw the ball and you're not, and they're still having to go the other side of the field. And when they do throw it, you're still close enough to your guy to make a play on the ball. So he had a very good season. And I mean, it can't be worse. Pass rush has to be a little better. If it's a little bit better, they might have to throw at him more, which could lead to some more counting stats for him, like passes deflected, a few more picks, maybe pick 6 or 2 here and there. So, I mean, if they can force the offense to have to throw at him a little bit, we can see how good he really is because yeah, he can run with the guys. He can cover them well enough to force them to go to the other side of the field. I am interested to see him take that next step and see what he does when he's being targeted as like a number 1 corner and they know it kind of, like, oh, it's going to be a challenge. We're going to throw him anyway and see what happens.
Yeah. And see if he can take that step to be the, like I said many times, like, can he be that number 1 guy in the class? And that's the kind of expectations he now has. Because now that's another thing about this year compared to last year's. He's got the expectations.
He ain't sneaking up on anyone.
No, he's not sneaking up on anyone. He's got to bring it because they're gonna try to dial him up. But I think he will because again, I think he's a really, really good player. I think he is worthy of this spot, if not higher. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what kind of season he has and how Zach Arnett tries to use him in different ways. And does he end up being a corner that just locks down a half a field? Does he travel this year with the best player? You don't see that as much anymore in college.
Yeah.
But if someone could do it, it's him. And so we'll see just how he gets used, really. But I coming up next, we'll look at what's coming up in Starkville. Don't go anywhere.
Tax season doesn't have to take over your life. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off and move on with your day. With TurboTax full service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert, start to finish, without the stress or guesswork. And instead of spending hours trying to figure out forms, you can meet with a local TurboTax expert in person or connect online. And they'll handle everything from your W-2s to self-employed forms and work to get you every deduction possible. And you can upload your documents, go about your day, and get updates right in the TurboTax app. It's a huge time saver and gives real peace of mind knowing an expert is handling it. For a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150 all in. If a TurboTax expert didn't file your taxes last year, just filed by February 28th. Take taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit turbotax.com/local to book your appointment today.
All right. Well, thanks for making Locked On Mississippi State your first listen every single day. Part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right, Landon, what are you looking forward to this weekend in Starkville?
Really, it's got to be the women's basketball game against Alabama. See if they can get another win on the board. That, and we're one day closer to baseball season. Those are the things I'm looking forward to the most right now. Men's season, I think, is, for all intents and purposes, is over at this point. So, I mean, hey, the women got a big win earlier this week. See if they can tack on another one, get a little momentum going.
Yeah, the only thing between now and baseball season is the women's season. The men, they're done. 4 straight losses. We said they had to go 6. Yeah, and we said they had to go 6-3 in that 9-game stretch. It was the easiest part of their conference play. They've already got their 4th loss, and they're probably going to get their 5th loss this weekend because they got Vanderbilt. Then they get LSU, then they get Missouri, both games on the road. And so it's very possible that they have a losing record. It's frustrating because it's probably the most talented team Jans has had, but it's been the worst team in the last several years. And I really it's just they're not a fun team to watch.
No.
They play dumb basketball, which they did last year too. They just won.
They were more fun last year.
Yeah, they turn it over a lot. They don't play defense at all. Hubbard is about the only thing that's fun to watch about them right now. And Epps too. I would say Epps, although he didn't play great either that last game, but Epps and Hubbard are really the only ones that are fun to watch. And you got some young pieces that are, I guess, if you're just a basketball nut like I am, that is fun to watch too, just because you can see them starting to develop and see what they could possibly become. But in this era, will they become that here? You never know. They might transfer out, but yeah, it's just we do a segment previewing this weekend and what to look forward to. There's not much to look forward to with how it's going, because not only is the basketball team not fun to watch right now, the men's team, Jordan Seaton's probably committing, if he hasn't by the time this podcast is out, probably committing to the LSU, Oregon, Miami, one of those schools.
Yeah,
you're gonna lose out on him, which I would say don't freak out about that. You should have known that.
All the people who have been commenting, we did not expect him to come.
Right.
When all the fans of other schools, we know.
When your reaction to hearing that he was visiting Mississippi State was, what? I can't believe he was coming. That should immediately tell you not to have any expectations about him signing, because you already told yourself that you didn't think there was any chance they were signing, and then you were surprised that he visited. But so you'll have that as well. Obviously, the women's basketball, looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun. They're playing really good basketball this season. Outside of that, NFL playoffs. I mean, I will say, and we hope everyone stays safe. I haven't. Landon and I don't live in Mississippi, so I haven't looked to see if it makes it all the way there. But the big snowstorm is going to hammer Landon and I. He's in Texas. I'm in Oklahoma. It's going to hammer us. And then get to, I think it does get to Mississippi, but stay safe there, because that's one thing. I might not get to watch anything this weekend if the power goes out. Like so, there's legit stuff about that. Now I'll keep up with it on my phone and stuff. And I don't think, at last I looked, Oklahoma was not supposed to get a lot of power loss, which is good. But hopefully no one else deals with that stuff, because I was in Texas when the thing happened in 2021, and a lot of people lost power. And Landon, I think you worked for a company that had to deal with a lot of stuff with that at that time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it wasn't fun. But yeah, so hopefully none of that happens. But everyone stays safe. And if it does hit Mississippi hard, like it's going to hit Oklahoma and Texas, be safe when you get out on the roads. Maybe just stay indoors. My wife and I, we're going to binge some shows that we haven't seen yet. So I think that's the plan with that. But
I was like, both of us being former reporters, we can probably rattle off all the how not to drive on the ice real quick.
Yeah, we could rattle it all up. And I was texting one of my buddies that is still in news, and I texted him. I said, it's really nice knowing that when the storm hits, I don't have to then go into work.
I don't have to go do a live shot.
I don't have to go do a live shot. I don't have to drive to work. I can sit home in the comfort of my house. So
if it gets bad enough and things actually do hit the fan here, I'm going to have to go into work, because I work for a city, and we'll have to activate the emergency operations center, and we have to work like 24-hour shifts. So hopefully it doesn't get too bad.
See, I got to do a lot of my work today. So for those that don't know, my main job is working for a school district. And so I got to do a lot of my work today on Thursday. I got to do a lot of that, because you get to plan to cancel schools and things like that. But
I was doing that too.
I think I'll have to work Sunday because of Sunday school. So, but yeah, ultimately, as far as Mississippi State goes, I mean, just again, women's basketball. That's what you hold on to.
And we're closer to baseball.
Closer to baseball and softball.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Should be pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So thanks for tuning in today, Locked On Mississippi State podcast. We'll recap everything that happens this weekend, good and bad. Don't worry. So on Monday. So make sure you subscribe and follow Locked On Mississippi State to get all the latest episodes. Remember, we're on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter with daily videos Monday through Friday. Also, we are on Facebook. So they got us up on Facebook. So go follow us on Locked On Mississippi State on Facebook. If you never miss an episode, the Everyday Club is built for you. Get Locked On Mississippi State ad-free, plus members-only Discord access and more. Head to the custom link in the show notes to join the club. For those of you on video, we send you to the first ever 24/7 National Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel. On audio, make sure you make your second listen Locked On College Football. For Locked On Mississippi State, I'm Jaron. That's Landon. Until next time, Hail State.
Hail State.